everybody. Professor Reese back at you with another segment of African American history. Last time we talked about slavery in the Americas, learned quite a bit, and then we talked about the rebellions for individuals that were going to fight that institution. So in keeping up with our timeline, what we're going to talk about next, what came next in history, would be the Civil War. Now, we're not going to do a lot about the Civil War. I'm just going to give you a little bit of information before we move on. Now, the Civil War was one of the bloodiest wars in American history. It was from 1861 to 1865, so 4 whole years. And the war had or pitted the Confederate against the United States because at that time they were divided. So basically North versus South. So as we have learned in our segments, the Southern states really believed in the ideology of slavery. They really believed that that was the institution for them. So they had this huge war which divided the country, and the North won, whipped up on the South a little bit, and then, folks, we came into the era of Reconstruction. Now, what happens when you deconstruct something? It comes apart, right? That's what the Civil War represented. Civil War's over, North has won. The Confederate States have decided to join the United States, and now it's time to reconstruct. So that's our next segment, Reconstruction. So I want you to take a look at this and pay attention because there will be a test.
The American Civil War, the bloodiest war in United States history, was fought between 1861 and 1865. The war ended when General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant on April 9, 1865.
Finally, peace. After so many years of death and bloodshed in the streets, the Confederacy finally bent the knee and surrendered to the North reluctantly. But would the North and the South just suddenly be best friends? It wasn't meant to be. 1865, war may have been over, but down south it's like they were hit with a boulder. Congress had barely passed the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which legally abolished slavery. But what would these newly freed people be? Down south, Lincoln set up the Freedmen's Bureau to help them get school food, medicine, and clothes. But many white Southerners resented the North's aggression. Plus, they intended to keep free blacks, the lowest class, keep them uneducated, poor and powerless. After Lincoln's assassination, Johnson was leading. His approach to the South was a lot more lenient. The South set up black codes, laws to keep the black folk tied to a farm, digging fields, no backhoe. Blacks needed permission to travel and get work, but slavery dressed up in a new shirt.
Yeah, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments gave black folks a little independence. They freed the slaves and made them citizens and said all races can vote. They were significant. 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments gave black folks a little independence. They freed the slaves and made them citizens and said all races can vote. They were significant.
Now, radical Republicans from the North weren't trying to let the South reset the course. They passed the 14th Amendment, which gave the freed slaves citizenship. Yeah, the law was pointing in the South's direction. It gave freed slaves the law's protection. It includes the Equal Protection Clause. States must provide equal protection under law. And Congress took control of southern state legislatures and sent Northerners to fill seats in the chambers. The so-called carpetbaggers made sure that southern states didn't pass laws like before. And 16 black representatives were sent to Congress. It seemed to black folk like some progress. Then in 1870, the country ratified the 15th Amendment to the Constitution. Says men have the right to vote, no matter their race, no matter their skin tone, or if they were enslaved. Though black men now had the right to vote, were southern states about to let that happen? No, they came up with racist voting laws and poll taxes and literacy tests, all designed to stop blacks from voting. They were disenfranchised, okay? And the struggle for equal rights persists today.
Yeah, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments gave black folks a little independence. They freed the slaves and made them citizens and said all races can vote. They were significant. 13th, 14th, 15th amendments gave black folks a little independence. They freed the slaves and made them citizens and said all races can vote. They were significant.
Okay, quiz time. Let's see. Let's just take 3 of them to see how many we get right, and then you can continue on. The first question, question number 1. The Civil War can be described as A, devastating and bloody, B, one-side battle, C, a fight over land, or D, the result of miscommunication. Okay, which one? Got it! A, devastating and bloody. Good job, scholars. Let's move on to question number 2. And this is all about Reconstruction. Which of these did not occur during the Reconstruction era? We've got former slaves, bloodiest war in U.S. history. We have B, all of the South, or the landless South, began to be part of the North and was for the very rich. Then we have number C, the president and members of Congress delegated over the approach to the former Confederate states. Or D, many former Confederate states passed laws to restrict the freedom of African Americans. Now remember, we've come out of slavery, now we're in Reconstruction, we're trying to rebuild. What'd you say? What did you say? What did you guess? Oh, ding, 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 ding. And it is D, many former Confederate states passed laws to restrict the freedom of African Americans. So here we've come out of slavery, we're in Reconstruction, but the South is still trying to go back to their old ways. Okay, last question, and then you're on your own. All right, question number 3. What was the federal agency that provided school, food, medicine, and clothes to feed slaves in the South? What were they known as? Number A, the Freedom Union. Number B, the Reconstruction Agency. Number C, the Freedmen Bureau. And number D, the Department for Freed Slaves.
I'm going to stop you. Do that one over.
Okay.
You were saying number D.
Oh. I'll forget you then.
You all over the place too.
Where are
It's all my craziness is all leaked out to you.
That's right. And here you go. You won't stop her.
Yeah. I ain't about to let you go in there so the whole Kansas City like, what'd you just say? No, I got your back.
I hear you.
All right. You want to do that? Go ahead. You can just start from that last question.
Okay. What was the federal agency that provided school, food, medicine, and clothes to freed slaves in the South known as? What were they known as? We have A, the Freedom Union. We have B, the Reconstruction Agency. We have C, the Freedmen's Bureau. And we have D, the Department of Freed Slaves. Look at you! Ding, ding, ding! And the answer is C, and you are correct again, the Freedmen's Bureau. Good job, scholars! All right, scholars, thank you for joining today and learning all about Reconstruction. And as usual, we always close with an African proverb, and our proverb for today is, a family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but will never break. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.